Hey everybody, Ross here, and this is Bible Study Silver Star. If this is your first time on this channel, click here to go back to the intro, or if you'd rather see what's just been happening recently, click here to go back to Genesis 49. Now, without further ado, I'm just going to jump right on into the final chapter of Genesis. Genesis 50, verse 1. Then Joseph fell on his father's face and wept over him and kissed him. And Joseph commanded his servants, the physicians, to embalm his father. So the physicians embalmed Israel. 40 days were required for him, for such are the days required for those who are embalmed. And the Egyptians mourned for him 70 days. Now when the days of his mourning were past, Joseph spoke to the household of Pharaoh, saying, If now I have found favor in your eyes, please speak in the hearing of Pharaoh, saying, My father made me swear, saying, Behold, I am dying. In my grave, which I dug for myself in the land of Canaan, there you shall bury me. Now therefore, please let me go up and bury my father, and I will come back. And Pharaoh said, Go up and bury your father, as he made you swear. So Joseph went up to bury his father, and with him went all the servants of Pharaoh, the elders of his house, and all the elders of the land of Egypt, as well as all the house of Joseph, his brothers, and his father's house. Only their little ones, their flocks, and their herds, they left in the land of Goshen. And there went up with him both chariots and horsemen, and it was a very great gathering. Then they came to the threshing floor of Atad, which is beyond the Jordan, and they mourned there with a great and very solemn lamentation. He observed 7 days of mourning for his father, and when the inhabitants of the land, the Canaanites, saw the mourning at the threshing floor of Atad, they said, This is a deep mourning of the Egyptians. Therefore its name was called Abel Mizraim, which is beyond the Jordan. So his sons did for him just as he had commanded them. For his sons carried him to the land of Canaan, and buried him in the cave of the field of Machpelah before Mamre, which Abraham bought with the field from Ephron the Hittite as a property for a burial place. And after he had buried his father, Joseph returned to Egypt, he and his brothers, and all who went up with him to bury his father. When Joseph's brothers saw that their father was dead, they said, Perhaps Joseph will hate us, and may actually repay us for all the evil which we did to him. So they sent messengers to Joseph, saying, Before your father died, he commanded, saying, Thus he shall say to Joseph, I beg you, please forgive the trespass of your brothers and their sin, for they did evil to you. Now please, forgive the trespass of the servants of the God of your father. And Joseph wept when they spoke to him. Then his brothers also went and fell down before his face, and they said, Behold, we are your servants. Joseph said to them, Do not be afraid, for am I in the place of God? But as for you, you meant evil against me, but God meant it for good, in order to bring it about as it is this day, to save many people alive. Now therefore, do not be afraid. I will provide for you and your little ones. And he comforted them and spoke kindly to them. So Joseph dwelt in Egypt, he and his father's household. And Joseph lived 110 years. Joseph saw Ephraim's children to the third generation. The children of Machir, the son of Manasseh, were also brought up on Joseph's knees. And Joseph said to his brethren, I am dying. but God will surely visit you and bring you out of this land to the land which he swore to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob. Then Joseph took an oath from the children of Israel, saying, God will surely visit you, and you shall carry up my bones from here. So Joseph died, being 110 years old, and they embalmed him, and he was put in a coffin in Egypt. Alright, this chapter is primarily dominated with the burial of Jacob. Verses 1 to 3 tell of Egypt's mourning period for him of 70 days. It's quite a long time, especially to mourn for a foreigner. I wonder if the Egyptians mourned like this out of respect for Joseph, or if Jacob had somehow proven himself to them during his time there. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Now, after this mourning time was done and the embalming process complete, Pharaoh gives Joseph permission to honor the oath to bury Jacob in Canaan. Not only that, all of Pharaoh's servants, elders, and even some of its military accompanied Joseph and the brothers in their funeral procession. To put it another way, Jacob was quite literally getting a royal send-off. At some point in the journey, they had another separate week-long period of mourning. I can understand the family grieving this much, but it's something else to see the Egyptians joining in too. Eventually, though, they reached their destination and fulfilled their oath to Jacob, burying him in the place Abraham had purchased long ago. On the way back, the brothers became concerned that Joseph would finally take revenge on them now that Jacob could no longer prevent it. So they sent messengers to Joseph and pretty much said, Dad told you to forgive us before he died. So you need to do that, please. Whether Jacob really said that or the brothers made it up is unclear. Either way, what a kick in the teeth to Joseph. Their doubts hurt him to the point of tears, and he reassured them with many of the same words he used the first time. Being the good and godly man he was, he pointed out that everything that had happened was because of the sovereignty of God. I know for a fact many so-called Christians today would not have done the same thing. And finally, after this, Joseph returned to his normal duties in Egypt before dying at 110 years old. Before dying, though, he prophesied the time when Israel would be brought out of Egypt back to the land of Canaan, the land of promise. He also made his brothers swear that when that time came, that they would bring his bones with them. With Joseph's death, the stage is set for the book of Exodus. And that's all I have for today. If you've been watching from the beginning, thank you so much. Thanks to everybody who's been watching. By the time you've seen this channel will have been officially launched just 2 weeks shy of a year. And I really appreciate all of the comments and questions and suggestions everyone's been giving. And I just look forward to seeing you all as we go through the rest of the 65 books of the Bible. So, thanks again for watching. May God make you as Ephraim and Manasseh, to be fruitful where you are, and to forget the pain of your past. And I will see you all soon in Exodus